if you have a question. Just if you are just really frustrated, a pain point, whatever, I really am here to support you guys so that Ready Rosie is successful with you. So I'm logged on as a teacher. I don't know how many of you all are teachers and how many of you all are admins. Some of you all may be both at the same time. And so I will try to address some admin things as well as we go along. But if you are new to Ready Rosie right now, the first thing I want you to do is just take a deep breath, because a lot of what I'm going to hit on tonight, you can go back to this getting started button right here to refresh your memory. So don't feel like you have to take notes and you have to remember everything that I'm saying, because when you're on this getting started page, we have a quick start guide that you can download and save as a PDF. And it is a hard copy. If you like to, follow instructions in a bullet, step 1, 2, 3, 4, then that's the document that you want to have access to. If you are more of a, no, I just want to see it modeled, I want to see, somebody walking me through it, then these are all very short, 2, not more than 3 minutes videos of how to create your classroom and invite your families, how to resend pending invitations, how to create custom playlists, how to use some that we have created that you can use, and then how to utilize that two-way communication, that commenting back and forth with your families. So just know that you can get back to refresh your memory. And if all else fails, you'll have my email, and feel free to email me and say, I don't remember what you said about doing this. So the other thing that is new on this getting started page is down here in the middle. It's kind of small. It says, if you're experiencing technical difficulties, please submit a support case. Now you can submit a support case for any trouble that you're having. But if you are having an issue, you can email me directly. But if your parent says, I don't remember what my password is, I need it reset, or I keep getting an error message, I just have to send that on to Hillary, because I don't have permission to do stuff with the parents that way. So if your parents are having an issue, just click this submit a support case, and just put what the issue is, the parent's name, and Hillary can take care of that. And then I would just add that if you haven't, Hillary is really good with her turnaround, but if maybe 2 days have gone by and you haven't gotten an answer, then email me and say, hey, can you check on this? And I can. Then as you scroll on down at the bottom of that getting started page, this invite flyer right here is the one that we recommend you send out to your families ahead of time, so they have a heads up about Ready Rosie. It comes in English and Spanish, as all of our information does. And when you click on it, the first page just says you're partnering with Ready Rosie, you're so excited, kind of a little bit about the videos. Then it shows them that you want them to watch the video, put the video down, do the activity with their child, and then share how it went on that commenting feature right below the video. On the back, it tells them, keep your eyes out. You're going to get either an email or a text. That's how we connect your families to you or to our system, is with either an email address or a cell phone number. And then it shows them the very simple steps they go through. Ready Rosie tries very, very hard to be an equitable company where education level does not matter. So we try to make everything just as easy as we can for our families. So once they click on that email or text, the very first thing they're asked is, what language do you want, English or Spanish? And then whatever language they choose, that's what it is going forward. Then they're asked to put in their first name, their last name. The third screen, they're asked, do you want to continue getting it by email, by text, or by both? And then they put in that appropriate information. They create a password and click register, and that's it. And then it takes them to a really cute overview of Ready Rosie. And that's all they have to do to accept the invitation once you send it out. And I'll go over that in just a minute. One quick little side note, Ready Rosie does have an app, but just forget that we have an app. It has not been, I mean, full transparency, it has not been updated in several years. It is fabulous if they just want to search the library on it, but they will not receive content that you send out through the app, nor can they comment back and forth. But sometimes parents find it on their own. And the very first email I get is, my parent tried to register and it said they needed a code. That means that they are trying to register through the app and they don't need a code. They cannot register through the app. So tell them to register through that text or email, and then they can use the app to explore the library. Okay, so that's just a little probably unprofessional sideline, but anyway, the app just I just wish they would take it off the App Store if they're not going to update it, but they didn't ask me. All right, so that's on that getting started page right over here. So you can always get back to all that information just by clicking that. So now I'm going to start right here in our black navigational box. I'm going to click on classrooms, because if you are brand new to Ready Rosie this year, or if you need to get your classrooms going for this current year, if you have archived classrooms, they will, I don't know why mine isn't showing up, but you'll have a line right here that says archived classrooms. You can access your data from last year, just don't unarchive it. Just leave it archived. You can click on that classroom, you can see the data, but just leave it tucked away in the archive vault. So I want to create my new classroom, so I'm going to click right here on Add New Classroom. And then I'm going to just call it whatever I want to call it. Nebraska Webinar, that's an original name. Then you can put a description in it here if you want to. Go ahead and select the age that you're working with. So I'm going to put infant toddler. If you want to select a beautiful color, you certainly may. And then click save, and your class is created. Just like that. It tells you classroom was successfully created. Now, if you are a teacher and your admin, your director wants to be assigned to your classroom, or somebody else wants to be assigned to your classroom, you can click on Assign a Teacher. Come over here, and anybody who has teacher access at your location will drop down. You'll just find their name. Who do I want to add to this classroom? And click Submit. And then that person will be added to your classroom. And what that means is they can also send content out to your families. So it's very, very easy for you to add additional people to your classroom. So now that my classroom is created, notice that I'm on my Manage Classroom tab. I have a bunch of zeros. I don't have students, don't have caregivers, don't have pending invitations because I haven't done anything. So I'm going to click right here on this Invite Families tab, and I'm going to do exactly what it tells me to do. Now, if you have some children, if you have a handful of children that were in your class last year, and they are going to be in your class again this year, you can bring them into this classroom as well. So you could click on Add Families from my other classrooms, and then the children who are connected to you will drop down and you can select them. So I'm going to go get him and click Submit. And he is now brought over into my classroom, my new classroom. But notice it says he doesn't have any connected caregivers because I still have to send that invitation out to him. I don't think he actually ever accepted the original invitation because it says it was resent one time. But if it had, and you send that invitation out, they will just get a notification that now they are assigned to your classroom for this new year. They don't have to re-accept that invitation. But I want to go back because you're just going to roster out your classroom. So for your new children that you have, you're just going to put in their first name, their last name, skip student ID, and then you'll need to put in either an email and or a cell phone number. You can put both in if you want to, but you have to put at least one because that's how we send out the invitation. Once you have your classroom all rostered out, you can click invite now and the invitation will go out then, or you can click schedule an invitation. And so maybe you're going to have an open house, or maybe you're going to have a a meeting with all the families or whatever, and you want to give them a heads up about Ready Rosie, or maybe you just want to have an opportunity to get that flyer sent out. So maybe you don't want to send out your invitations until September 20th, because you're going to use all of next week to let your parents know. And you click submit, and then you don't have to worry about those invitations again. They are scheduled to go out in our system and they'll automatically go out. So that's how easy it is to create a classroom, roster it out, and send out those invitations. Now, one thing, and I think that this is it's human nature. We have every intention of following up and stuff like that. And before you know it, 3 weeks, a month, 6 months have gone by. And you never go back and check and resend any invitations that haven't been accepted yet. Sometimes the invitation will go to their spam folder or their junk folder. And so they never even got that invitation. So what we recommend, just from best practice from other people who have used Ready Rosie and have 95, 100% engagement with their families, is whatever date they initially send that invitation out, they put a reminder in their phone, on a sticky note, on their back door, wherever they put reminders for themselves to go in and resend the invitations that have not yet been accepted. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'm going to go to a class that actually has some stuff down here in my demo class. So here's my class. Just look at all the people that are assigned to this classroom. So you can assign multiple people. So here's my classroom, and I can tell right at a very quick glance, all these people have still not accepted that invitation, that initial invitation. So I'm going to go back to my Manage Classroom tab. And right next to Invite Families is Resend Pending Invitations. So now I can see the parents who never accepted that invitation. At this point, you have a couple of options. Maybe they moved, maybe they're gone, but between the time you invited them initially and now you're resending them. So you can just click delete and they're off your roster. Or maybe you just had the cell phone number and now you have an email. So you can click edit and you can correct whatever information you want to. You can add additional information if you want to as well. And then, whoops. And then all you have to do is click resend selected, and all those invitations will go out another time to those families. And what we know from a lot of our other partners is after you send the initial invitation, then you resend it one time, then it's down to a manageable number. This might even be considered a manageable number, where if you see them at drop off or pickup, you can say, hey, don't forget to accept the Ready Rosie invitation. Did you get it? Look for an email, look for a text, and you can make that personal connection. So that really is how easy it is to accept the invitation. They will not get anything from you via Ready Rosie or from Ready Rosie until they accept the invitation. When I was doing a webinar earlier today, and a teacher said, I had a parent that was really, she said she was really hot. She was really angry. And she said, she told me she can't click on any of the links that I'm sending. And she said, it took me a while to figure out what she was talking about. Well, this teacher was copying the URL for a lot of our videos and putting it on her class Facebook page. Well, every time the parent clicked on it, she got an error message. Well, come to find out, the parent never has accepted the invitation. And so whenever she tries to click on a Ready Rosie link, she gets that error message. So it was kind of a roundabout way to get that parent to finally accept the invitation. So just remember, if you've already forgotten what I said after thanks for joining, you can click back on this Getting Started button and watch the Inviting Families and the Pending Invitation Looms, or follow those little bullet steps on the quick start guide. So any quick questions about classrooms before I move to playlists? Nope. Okay. Well, if you change your mind and you want to put it in the chat, you certainly can, and we'll monitor that as we go along. All right, so Ready Rosie sends out a playlist, an email or a text to all of your families every Monday. And we have 3 to 4 videos on that playlist. 3 of them are like for 4-year-old pre-K, and then at least one is an infant toddler, and that might be anywhere from birth up through 3 years of age. There's always at least one activity for the infant toddler grade. And as well as good as those are, they're not going to be aligned specifically to what you are talking about on any given week. So you guys have the ability to create custom playlists. And so you'd click on playlist right here. And I think sometimes people think that they're really hard and time consuming, but they really aren't. And there are 2 ways that you can do playlists. These tabs along the top are playlists that we have created at Ready Rosie that we are not sending out. We've made them, and you can use them as if they're your own. I think some of you all use Creative Curriculum, or at least some people did last time, but we have created playlists that are aligned to those beginning of the year focus questions, as well as all of the studies at home. And whether you use Creative Curriculum or not, it really doesn't matter, because I think almost every early childhood program I know talks about trees, talks about water, all of those kinds of things. And these beginning of the year playlists, these focus questions, I think are just, if they're not talked about in every program, they should be. Like, what names do we need to know at school? What should we do if we get sad or scared at school? What are our routines? Things like that. So check those out. But let's say that you wanted to use this. What should we do if we get scared? So I'm going to click on use this playlist. And then from here, you can edit this. You can leave it exactly as it is. It's already translated in Spanish for you. And all you'd have to do, if you don't make any changes, is select the class that you want it to go to. So what happened to my Nebraska class? Well, we'll just pick another one. And then over here, here's your little preview. These are the videos that we have attached that are aligned specifically to what should we do if we get scared. You can take any of these videos off. Maybe if it's right at the beginning of the year, just a second, I'm trying to move y'all's lovely faces out of the way here. Maybe I want to add a video. So I'm going to come over here and click on this tab. And you can filter by category. You can filter by age. If you're feeling really wild and crazy, you can filter by location. If you were trying to find activities that your families can do at the grocery store, you can also put in a keyword. And COVID is a keyword, interestingly enough, in a family engagement platform. Who would have thought? But it's the easiest way to find the videos that support COVID and some of the health and well-being videos that we filmed for COVID. And the one that I think can't be shared enough is this healthy hand washing habits. So I'm going to click the plus sign, and that's going to add that to my playlist. And then the other one that I think is really, really good for the beginning of the year is what habits help our families stay healthy and minimize sickness. So I'm going to click that one. And the nice thing about it is the Spanish videos are automatically added. So you don't have to go look for the Spanish counterpart. So that's all I want to add. And so from here, you've got 6 action items. You can save it and come back and deal with it later. You can send it right now. You can schedule it just like you could those invitations. In fact, I know some teachers that create all their playlists between the beginning of the year and December and just get them all scheduled out so they don't have to do anything else with it. You can copy the URL and send it on another platform. You can preview it. And it'll have your name on it. And this is what it will look like when your families get it. They can click right there or click on the thumbnail to access the video. And you also have the option to print a hard copy and send that out if you want to as well. So that's how easy it is to use one that we have used. If you create one from scratch, the only difference is that whatever you put in here, if you have families that want it in Spanish, you will have to translate it. So you would click the Spanish button after you've typed it and then click translate for me and it'll be translated for you. But then from there, you just select your class. And then when you come to select the videos, whoops, it's not gonna let me do that unless I put in a title. When you come over here to select your videos, you also have the option to browse your state standards. So if you're trying to align to your state standards, you could click on that. And then whatever age you're working with, let's just do infant toddler, come down to your state. And then all of the infant toddler guidelines will come up and you can scroll down until you can find the specific guideline that you are reinforcing that particular week. These are all hyperlinks that will take you directly to that video and you can add it to your playlist. So that's really the only difference between, you know, starting from scratch and then doing one that we've started with. When you create a playlist, whether one of ours or one that you've done from scratch, you have documentation. And so let me find one that maybe might have been sent to an actual group. Nope. Okay. Well, pretend like there are more than that many children in the class, but this is what we call your playlist report. And so this was a report that was created, and you have the option to print the report so that you can see what language should I use at home, and library visit were the two videos that were sent home. Neither of the children in this class watched either one of the videos. If they had, the date that they watched it would be here. If they clicked, they liked it, they did the activity, even if they had left you a comment, that would be recorded right here. So you have documentation of who is actually watching the videos that you are aligning and sending out specifically to support what it is that you're talking about at school. Now, one thing about this is there is a teacher here in Texas that has 100% of her families commenting on every video that they watch. And when I asked her how she did that, she said, I just set it as my expectation, just like it's my expectation that they bring their child to school, they send a backpack, they send a change of clothes, whatever it is. And she said, and then I monitor it for the first 3 to 4 weeks. She said, anytime I send a playlist or a video home, I check to make sure that they are clicking and watching it and leaving me a comment. And she said, if they don't, then I send them a comment to remind them. So I share that because our parents are only going to engage on the things that we monitor and we acknowledge that they are participating in. So, so you do have this playlist report. One of the things that I moved on from back in classrooms that I want to share with you is the other kind of data that you have. When you click on your classroom, so you have that playlist report by the class of what you are sharing with, but you also can see individual student data as you scroll on down on in your classroom tab. So I can click on Baylor Bear, and I can see at a top level view how many video views she's had, and then what learning outcomes have been supported, as well as what family outcomes have been supported. But I can click on Old Baylor Bear, and I can see the learning outcomes, how that whatever number it was, 500 and whatever outcomes, how that is distributed across language and literacy, health and well-being, social and emotional, and math. How is that divvied up? But then I can also click here on these learning outcomes, and now it's going to spill down into those subcategories. So now I can actually see, okay, she has been watching some videos that are supporting listening and speaking. She's had 128 learning outcomes that have been supported, or opportunities to support those learning outcomes. A lot of our teachers will use this to help drive their instruction. If I've been sending out phonological awareness videos to this family to support rhyming, and I can see that there's a 52 here, then that tells me they're watching those videos that I'm sending out. If that's a 0, then I know they're not watching those videos that I'm sending out. All of these spill down, and so you can see the subcategories for math, social and emotional, as well as health and well-being. The family outcomes spill down, and so you can see those family outcomes that have been supported by the different videos that they have watched. Then as you scroll up to the bottom of each child's page, now you have an individual record of the most recent 20 videos that they have watched. So I can tell that on August 17th at 4:34, she and her family watched stuffed animal sentences. Now, they didn't click whether they liked it or did it, or they also didn't leave a comment. But I can see down here on Family Talent Show that they did. They didn't leave a comment on any of the videos. Some of the children will, but again, if that's an expectation that you want to put on your families, then even the comment here would be recorded. And I just have to tell you that I've seen some great back and forth between a parent and a teacher, where the parent does the activity, the child struggles, the teacher replies, gives them some scaffolding, gives them some help. They try it again, the child is successful. And I just think that's a great way that we can build capacity in our families. So number one, they end up having a great interaction with their child, and nobody is leaving in tears. And it also gives you, the teacher, valuable information. Is that child doing at home with that activity what you are seeing in the classroom? So really encourage your families to leave comments there. Now, I want to point out a couple of things in the library for you. We'll just watch, excuse me, the beginning of Stomp the Letter here, because it's the first one.
Hey, little man, do you know what these are called? What are these?
Yeah.
What are these called? These are letters.
Yeah.
Letters of the alphabet. And today we're going to play a game called Stomp the Letter, where we identify letters of the alphabet, okay? Let's start with the first letter of your name, Jaden. What does Jaden start with?
J.
Can you stomp on J? Show me. Stomp on J. That was a little tiny stomp. But that is J. J for Jaden. There it is. Let's do another one. Can you identify the letter F? That's right. Can you tell me a word that starts with the letter F? F for?
Fox.
Oh, fox. That's a good one. Okay, good. Let's identify the letter M. Can you stomp on the letter M?
The W.
When you turn around that way, it does become a W. That's right.
M.
And now it's an M again. Can you tell me a word that starts with M?
All right. And so that's just one example of one of our videos. And on your landing page, what we call your landing page, we tell you what the learning outcomes are. And obviously Stomp the Letter, it's pretty obvious what the learning outcomes are, but it's not always obvious for social and emotional, those activities that we have. We always give a little explanation of what the activity is. We always say why it's important. And again, something like Stomp the Letter, that's obvious, but red light, green light, Simon Says, Build a Fort, those kinds of things. Why it's important isn't always as obvious. If the family needs to take it down just a little bit because maybe their child can't do it as it is in the video, then we have a suggestion. Or if they need a challenge, then we always have an Explore More, where for this one in particular, they're encouraged to pick one of the letters and then draw 3 pictures that might begin with that. All of our videos have a book recommendation, and then we always have a way to just extend the learning as a whole. As on your teacher page, if any families have commented on that video, all the comments will be represented. And if you've used that video in a playlist, all the playlists that you've used that video in will be recorded there as well. On any video, you can click on the caregiver view, and this will show you what your families see. So when they click on a video, right here, it says, watch it, and then click, was it helpful or not? So they're not having to go to another place to record that. Do the activity and then click, we did it. And then right here is where they can leave a comment for you. Click comment, and that comment will come to you 2 different ways that I'll share in just a minute. Then if they have left a comment on any video, any comment that they have left will be recorded here. And then this part is exactly the same for them. So they can read why it's important. And if they're not ready, their child isn't ready, a way to make it a little easier or a way to challenge them. And they have the exact same Explore More that you guys have access to. Both you and the families have additional languages that they can watch the videos with. And when they click on the closed caption, we have captions in English, Haitian Creole, Samoan, Vietnamese, Dari, Arabic, Khmer, and Simple Chinese. So if any of your families might need those, although I had one, Shauna, was it yours? I don't think it was anybody with you, but somebody in that area. They had one little girl who had watched over like 700 videos. And I was like, oh my gosh. And the admin said, well, yes, they are watching the videos and doing the activities, but the mom is a Spanish speaker and she keeps watching the videos over and over again with the English sub captions. She's trying to teach herself English. And I thought, I love that idea. So make sure that your families are aware of those. So the 2 ways that you will get notified if you have a comment left is, the first way is you will get an email that says so-and-so left a comment on this video, and there's a giant red button that says click to read and respond. The other way is this teeny tiny little envelope. You will get a notification with a number of however many comments are there. So you click on that envelope, and then all of the children who are associated with you will drop down. And you can go to that particular child and you can see the comments that have been left. When you see a single thumbnail like this, that means that you shared that one video with that family. You didn't send it in a playlist, you just shared that one video with that one family. And then right down here, you can comment back to that family and they will get a notification. So it's very, very easy to read what comments have been left by your families and then to respond to them. So let me show you how to share one video with one family. Let's say that you wanted to share snack count. And you can do this for everybody, all of your children, or just one child if you want to. But you would click share right down here. And then all the children who are attached to you are going to drop down. And maybe I just want to send it to Frankie. So I'm going to select him. I can put a message in if I want to, and I can click share. And that one video will go to his family. You also can copy the URL here and share it. You could just copy the URL and text it to them if you wanted to, or share it on any other platform. I could have also come down here and just real easily selected all of the children that are attached to me and click share, and that one video would go right then to those families. So it's very, very easy to share either a video in a playlist or just single video. So the last thing, just real quickly before I move to resources in our remaining time and then open it up for questions, is I really encourage you to explore the research and answer videos. These are great, I think, little, 2-minute expert videos that you can share with families, like how do I get my child to listen to me, or how to get my child to stop throwing a tantrum, and every behavior is a form of communication and things like that. So make sure that you take some time to explore those research and answer videos. But just a couple resources I want to touch on for you is we have a lot, but under family workshops and Give Me Tens, and we'll be going over these in more detail, but we have 1-hour workshops, and we also have what we call 10-minute Give Me Tens. And these are 10-minute little professional developments that you can share. But the one that I want to just point out this evening for you is this one, Introducing Ready Rosie to Your Families. It's 10 minutes. And there's kind of a choose your path at the end, where if you've already sent the invitation out, you use this slide and it tells them, go look right now in your email, look on your phone, accept that invitation. If you're going to be sending out the invitation, then it says, look for an email or text to come out on Friday or whatever. But it's just a really nice little overview of Ready Rosie that you can do. And as I said, for all of our family workshops, you get the PowerPoint and the facilitator guide, everything that you would need to deliver those. So, but in one of our future webinars, we'll be looking at those a lot. The other thing that I want to make sure that you are aware of is under alignments and curriculum maps. We are aligned to Early Head Start and Head Start. You can click here on the ELOFs, and we have aligned every modeled moment to all of the ELOFs. This is where you can look for the alignment to all of the family workshop of the family outcomes for Early Head Start and Head Start. You can also access the state standards here, as well as where I showed you on the playlist. So you have that alignment document. And then if you are a teaching strategy, creative curriculum, you can click here and either click the infant toddler intentional teaching opportunities or the intentional teaching experiences. And we've listed all of those cards with the aligned modeled moment that would support that. And then lastly, I think this is probably the most exciting thing that I'm the most excited about, because you guys had, the foundation had a huge part, y'all, did it actually, but we are aligned to all of the CDC's developmental milestones. And so many times teachers will say, my parents don't take their children to well baby checks. They don't, do these kinds of things. And I don't think they even realize that, they should be, passing these developmental milestones. And it's always kind of an awkward conversation to have. And so, Shauna, was it UNL that what was the university?
Yep. If you scroll to the top of that document right there. Right. So Janet is actually the one who went through the CDC's milestones, and then also viewed every Ready Rosie video to try to match it up as best as it could to the developmental ages and stages appropriate. But kind of where milestones where kids should be, and videos that could be matched up with it. So yeah, she's from UNL, from the medical center there. So I guess I can't say UNL because it's University of Nebraska Medical Center. That could potentially be in Omaha or Lincoln, depending on where they're at. So she spent hours doing this for a research that she was doing. It's a great tool.
And it is, I mean, I personally have gotten so much feedback on this. And so, if you have a child and you're, thinking, gosh, they should be, holding their head steady now, or, getting close to that, you could send home, you could share this Flying with Mom video with that family for an activity to kind of help support that milestone. So take a look at these. We've just really gotten incredible feedback on it. So I'm really, really excited about that one. So what questions do you guys have? Just as a reminder, you can go back to this Getting Started page right here to refresh your memory on those nitty-gritty little details for creating your classroom and getting your class rostered, and then sending those pending invitations out. What questions can I answer for you guys in our time remaining?
I may just ask, I see a lot of maybe deer in headlight looks. It's a lot of information for anybody who's just getting started. I understand it's a lot. But like Teddy said, the getting started, that is the first step. Clicking on that, if you just get lost, if so much tonight, if that information was just too much to absorb and you just need to take it step by step when you have time, that is a great place to start, and just kind of, like I said, take it one step at a time. The other thing, that FAQs or the help, I use that a lot too. And I just plug in a keyword and it will bring you all of the resources that will match up with that keyword. So if you want to say classroom, start classroom, you can put that in there, and then everything, all of the resources you need to help you with that getting started is all available. Yeah. Adding another teacher, all of that. It's really such a super easy platform to use. So don't be overwhelmed with what Teddy went through tonight. Break it down into steps. It's the easiest for you. The other thing, I just want to know with your, maybe your hands up, if you know how to do that with your, could tell me, like, if you feel like we got off tonight, you're ready to get your classroom started, or you may already have your classroom started.
See one, two.
Couple of you, okay.
Good.
Is that because Fits and Giggles, you were on last year, right? So are you just kind of getting your new classroom set up and ready to go, and maybe just pulling from your archive list to get that? So that might be why, and that's great that you guys are on to another year. Another thing I would like to just add to, if you're new, or even if you're not new, but you feel like your parents aren't utilizing Ready Rosie the way you would like it, I would challenge you to do some kind of family engagement activity, whether it's a one-on-one conversation with them, or a group family engagement opportunity to really just show them the playlist and give them some examples of why you would be sending out a playlist. So if you were to say, this year, we're going to talk about language, and we're going to work on language and literacy this part of the year, something like that. However that conversation goes. And then if you let them know, Ready Rosie is a parent engagement tool that we use with families, that we want to extend the learning that we're doing in the classroom at home. And that's why you may get videos from us on Thursday at 6 o'clock at night. That's the time we're going to schedule, and that's the time we're going to send out videos. We would really like you to take the time to watch it, try it, and reply back. If you can introduce Ready Rosie to families that way, show some of those playlists so they can see what they are, I think you'll have more success with your parents actually opening them and doing them with their families. We heard so much last year that some parents were just blocking it or deleting it and not doing that because they automatically will get a Monday video from Ready Rosie. That's just part of the program. But what we really want you guys to be are intentional playlist senders. We really want you to utilize those playlists to enhance the learning at home and build that family engagement and that trust piece between you and parents. So I will challenge you that if you can get your classroom started, to then practice sending out a playlist to your classrooms with a message and encourage them to reply back. I do think that's going to be part of our incentive, is that those playlists are shared out with some kind of individual message from the teacher or whoever you happen to be in your role, and with the expectations that parents watch and reply back. Another thing that may be incorporated in that, if you happen to be a home visitor, because we know home visitors show these videos while they're actually at the visit at the home. So to track that, if it's possible to send that playlist out that morning and say, hey, we're going to watch this when I come this afternoon together. It's something that I think is you might want to know. And then when that home visit happens, have that parent open that up on their own device and watch that video together on their device so that we can track that. It's just really difficult to track if you're using your device and show. Although, I mean, if that's what you do, I think that's wonderful. Show those playlists and share those playlists. But sometimes to capture that you are utilizing those playlists with families and they're being sent, that might be the best way to do it. And also they can preview it before you come. So they may have already had a chance to look at it if that's the case.
And one thing, Shauna, that I really would encourage you guys to do, tell me about it. I just think it's an incredible video to use because she's interviewing her little boy, but to use as an icebreaker. There's so many of the Ready Rosie videos that lend themselves where you can do it with your families. And so you could watch that video, show them an example of Ready Rosie, and then say, okay, now you're going to turn to the person next to you. But I want you to tell me about, what are you hoping your child learns this year? Or just, it could even be a silly topic. And so number one, you're kind of breaking that ice where they're doing something fun and risk-free with another adult. And you're showing them how easy it is. Because a lot of times, if they haven't seen any of the Ready Rosie videos, they may be thinking that it's, a 30-minute long video they have to watch to figure out how to do this activity. And they're all 2 minutes or less. So any and every opportunity you have before, it doesn't even have to be a Ready Rosie meeting, but anytime you have your families as a captive audience, start off showing one of the videos just to give them an idea. And tell me about it is a great one to do that with. So any other comments or questions? I put my email in the chat. It's Teddy, TEDDI.F as in Frank @teachingstrategies.com. And I'm here to support you. So just, kind of just take one little chunk at a time.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way to start. But it's get started is what I really, really encourage you to do, or get restarted if you haven't yet. Also, to redirect back to that CDC alignment page that Teddy pointed out, if you're not with, say, public school preschool or a Head Start or home visitation or Sixpence program, and there's not a specific curriculum, maybe that you're working, if you're a family childcare home provider, or if you're a childcare center and you're not doing creative curriculum, that CDC alignment is really a useful tool because you can use the CDC's milestone moments for your child assessments. If you are working on Step Up to Quality, they will allow that as an assessment to be done for those developmental milestones. So you can get those free alignment tools. If you click on that, you see the other name up there with Janet's. If you reach out to her, she will send you, Carrie Miller, she will send you free CDC developmental milestone tools to use. So you don't even have to pay for them like you would if you were to do, say, the class evaluation or whatever you happen to be doing. So you can use these, and then you can use your videos to go along with it with your family engagement piece for Step Up to Quality. So there are points that can be earned utilizing this tool and utilizing it as a family engagement tool. It meets quite a few points in that Step Up to Quality part of it, which I know is really important to a lot of people right now, trying to figure out like what best fits into the programming they're doing and not have to like really change the way you're doing things. Like we want it to be something that you're going to utilize and something that's easy to incorporate in what you're already doing. And this tool really does do that. And then of course, like the creative curriculum with the teaching strategies and the alignment with Head Start and all of that stuff is awesome too. So remember that that's there because it's there to make your life easier. We want it to be easy, not just an afterthought and one more task to do. That being said, if you feel like you want to attend tomorrow or Friday, you have the Zoom links, feel free to hop back on. But like I said, I recorded tonight. It will be sent out as a YouTube video here after a couple of days. So you will always have access to the recording. But I will say the best way is to just utilize your Ready Rosie platform and go back to that getting started and those types of things. It's unless your ability to have two screens where you can listen to Teddy speak and then have Ready Rosie on the other screen and start clicking through the things that she's talking about it, which I think could also be really helpful because actually doing it yourself and practicing it gets you into the habit and understanding how it all works.
Yeah.
So.
And just know you cannot mess it up. I mean, you cannot mess it up. So don't just, it really is the best thing is just to get on there and just go for it. So, okay. All right.
I think we're done for the night. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you all for sharing your evening with us. Have a good night.
Bye.